following is a Galactic Digital Studios production. This is News Desk, part of the Closing Tag Network. Oh, poor Natalie, poor Natalie, poor Natalie. If you don't know, you should know. Natalie Klein has been told basically to fuck off by the Utah State Education Board. Couldn't have happened to a nicer bitch. This is News Desk, part of the Closing Tag Network. Before I get started, kind of shifting gears here, I want to send a very sincere, very special shout out to all the peaceful protesters throughout the United States that are protesting against the war that's going on right now between Israel and Palestine. This war, I've made my feelings about it perfectly clear in the past on this podcast as well as in blogs. And I want to preface what I'm about to say with, I don't condone violence. I don't condone violent protests. But the police arresting peaceful protesters in the middle of one of the most contentious, I should say, and volatile times in this country's history is only going to spark the fire even more. So I implore law enforcement, and I implore government officials to allow for the peaceful protests, allow for these college students to let their voices be heard. Because your reaction to these peaceful protests could shape the very future of this democracy. I don't think I'm being exaggerated when I say that. And please stop the violence. I'm all in favor of a ceasefire. With that said, this is News Desk. And a lot of people like to think that this podcast is specifically engineered to trash on conservatives. And for about 80% of the time, you're probably right. This is one of those 80% times. So let's talk for a minute. And I'm actually going to try and do something that I don't think I've ever done before. I am going to trash on conservatives without bringing up Donald Trump. I know I just mentioned his name. It's like he's like the Candyman. Say his name 3 times and he appears. But no, it's not about him this time. Shockingly. I know. Today, I want to focus on South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. Now, many people that are listening to this right now probably don't even know who Kristi Noem is. Hell, 2 weeks ago, I didn't even know who Kristi Noem was. And to be perfectly honest, I kind of wish I didn't. Kristi Noem, on top of being a conservative governor in the state of South Dakota, is potentially the leading candidate for the vice president seat. At least the nomination for the vice president seat. He who shall not be named is considering picking her as his running mate. So, why then am I trashing on Kristi Noem today? Well, recently, there was a memoir or a book or something that came out. And this particular unbelievably dense, unbelievably repulsive pile of human waste. And I'm not saying that just because she's a conservative. Give me a minute, I will get to my explanation for this. She wrote in her memoir or her book or whatever that she once had a puppy. She once had a dog. I forget the dog's name. Cricket. Her name was Cricket. And she got the dog when it was very little, when it was very young. I think like 6 months young or something like that. I don't know all the details about that. Primarily as a hunting dog. Because hunting is very much still a big thing in South Dakota. Which I'm okay with that. Well, one day, Kristi decided to take her dog with her to, I think it was like her neighbors or something like that. Because she didn't want to leave Cricket home alone. Now, on the surface, that sounds like a reasonable thing to do. You don't want to leave your dog home alone, especially when it's not potty trained. So, you take it with you. Okay. Doing good so far. Well, this particular neighbor has chickens. Has basically a chicken farm where they grow their own eggs and, have their own meat provided for themselves. And they even sell some of the eggs to other neighbors. Cricket decided it was lunchtime and decided to go after the chickens. Even killed a few of them. Kristi Noem understandably got very upset at her dog, who by this point was 14 months old. So, you get to play my favorite game ever. Let's guess what this person did in response. What a logical person would do in response to this sort of thing is, discipline them, right? Okay. They would either discipline them, they would smack them a little bit on the backside and just be like, no, you don't do that. No. Bad dog. Bad dog. Another thing is they could grab a rolled up newspaper, or they could grab a fly swatter. They could grab something that's not going to hurt the dog too badly and just give them a good swatting. No. Bad dog. Bad dog. No. Kristi Noem, in her infinite wisdom, decides right then and there to shoot her fucking dog. Yeah. On top of the fact that she decided the appropriate response to her dog misbehaving in front of colleagues and neighbors was to put a bullet in its head. She's actually bragging about it. She sees nothing wrong with what she did. And the fact of the matter is that Kristi Noem is a governor. And this governor thinks it is okay to shoot a dog when it's misbehaving. Never mind the fact that it's 14 months old. I mean, I've heard of and seen some very sick, twisted fucking people in my life. That I think this woman may actually be the worst. And forgive me if I laugh at any emails that come my direction, Raul at theclosingtide.com, defending this woman's actions. Okay, let's say, for instance, you have a dog and it's misbehaving. It eats your neighbor's chickens or whatnot, kills a few of your neighbor's chickens. Depending on the age range, what would be the appropriate response? And I've had young pups in my time. If a young puppy, which 14 months old, qualifies as a young puppy, is misbehaving, you try and discipline that dog as best as you can. This is one of those instances where a famous quote from a TV show that I really like comes in mind. A dead man can't learn from his mistakes. In this case, a dead dog cannot learn from his mistakes or her mistakes. What is the thought process in all of this? On top of the fact that Kristi Noem, on top of being the governor of South Dakota, a person in charge of executive order in an entire state, has friends and colleagues in the veterinary department, people that take care of horses for a living. You couldn't think to pick up the phone and call one of these people, be like, listen, I need help. This 14-month-old puppy is not behaving and just killed 3 of my friends' chickens. I need help. Can you please come help me? You let them take care of it. You let them handle the situation. You don't reach for your 9mm and put a bullet in the dog's fucking brain. And if it sounds like I'm almost as angry at this woman for doing what she did as I was at Natalie Klein for trying to ban the word empathy from public schools in the state of Utah, you're fucking right I am. When I first heard about this story, I was shakily angry. I am almost at that point again now, and it's been a week later. And the problem is that this isn't just a Kristi Noem problem. This is a mentality that is seeping through the entire Republican Party. You have a lot of older-minded, older mentality people trying to run the United States of America like it's 1960. You have a lot of people that are sitting in positions of power that still believe the Confederacy was right, even though they will never say outright what they were right about. We'll just go off the premise that they were right about slavery in these people's minds. A lot of people in the Republican Party have clung on to this whole notion of make America great again. They firmly believe that progress and woke culture are ruining this country, when really it's them refusing to adapt, refusing to change, refusing to adapt to the times. That is what's ruining this country. Now, I will be the first to admit there are some things about Gen Zers and millennials and the Democratic Party that I don't agree with. I'll admit it. I'll outright admit it. I've had my fair share of issues with Joe Biden over these last 4 years. In fact, I believe I've said repeatedly on this podcast and in my private life that certainly with 2 billion people in this country, we could do a lot better than Biden versus He Who Shall Not Be Named Part 2. It just boggles my mind that people automatically assume, well, you're against the Republican Party, so you must be a Biden dicksucker. No, I'm just not drinking the MAGA Kool-Aid like some people are. I can have an opinion about somebody that is not, always flattering or that is not always positive, and still think that that person is better than the shit stain that you people have put on a fucking pedestal. And the orange-skinned Emperor Palpatine wannabe is not the problem. Yes, I'm saying that publicly right now. He's not the problem. He is the symptom, and he is the byproduct of the much bigger problem. An older mentality, out of their time, out of touch with reality group of people that still believe that women should be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, that still believe that black people should be lynched in the streets in public, that still believe that white is right and Mexicans shouldn't be here, that still believe that, homosexuality and transgender, that's all a disease and it's a choice, not something that you're born with. No, the choice is having to live in society with you assholes. That's the choice. The choice is being a bunch of dickheads to those people. That's the choice. And if this video and this podcast gets, flagged for excessively explicit content, I'm sorry, but I am beyond done placating and playing nice. And spare me with your rationale, with your defense of Kristi Noem and all these other people. If you're one of those people that believe that Kristi Noem did nothing wrong, do you and me both a favor. Stop the podcast now. Turn it off. Never come back. I don't want you. I don't need you. I don't need to pretend I'm someone I'm not just so a group of hateful people can continue to listen to me. I've got plenty of people that aren't hateful that will continue to listen to me regardless. Just fine without you. We're good. We're fine. Go. Bye. Kristi Noem not only shouldn't be the governor of South Dakota, and not only should she not be the vice president of the United States of America, she should be in fucking jail. There are several states. Utah is one of them, where what she did to cricket would be considered a felony. And again, it's not exclusively just her. It's this older mentality of white is right, the conservative way is the only way, and if you don't like it, leave. Oh, and children should be allowed to work underage, according to these people. Yeah. And you wonder why these people are so gung-ho about women carrying babies that they didn't want, carry them to term, and then the minute that baby is out, they want nothing to do with you. You are dead to them. Nope, I don't want none of that. Nope, you keep that away from me. Nope, I'm not kissing any babies. Nope, bye-bye. Go, shoot. Name one conservative currently in the United States that doesn't have that mentality. Go ahead. I'll wait. Yeah. And to anybody that's still listening, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I know that online petitions are the biggest waste of time ever and almost never accomplish what it is that they're set out to do. But if there was ever a time for an online petition trying to get Kristi Noem removed from office would be a very good cause. Fuck Kristi Noem. Plain and simple. And fuck the MAGA movement. That's all the time I have right now for today. If you are listening to this on Spotify, leave a review. Reviews are awesome. Reviews are nice. If you're watching this on Facebook, like, share, comment, share with friends, share with family. Unless they're, the crazy uncle who won't stop talking about the dirty Mexicans that keep coming over illegally. If you're watching this on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. That way you're notified every time a new video drops. I'm trying to get into the habit of YouTube Shorts and Facebook Reels, trying being the operative word, but attempts are being made. If you're interested in donating, donations are open on theclosingtag.com. That's theclosingtag.com. Donation button is in the upper right hand corner. You know what to do from there. If you're interested in watching me record these episodes live on twitch.tv/owlthegeek, I do that every Friday at around 4ish, depending on my work schedule. Work's gotten crazy in the last couple of days, so yeah, but we'll leave that alone. I want to thank everyone for liking, for sharing, for downloading, for donating, for watching, for doing everything you can to help this endeavor moving along. Your efforts are not going unnoticed, so thank you. And until the next time that I decide to go on one of these rants, remember to include your closing tags and fuck Kristi Noem. Thank you. This has been a Galactic Digital Studios production.